Thank you all for joining. I'm Harshini Gopinath. So today we'll be looking about the green initiative, that is financial sustainability of green initiatives. So in the world moving toward sustainability, every decision we make today shapes the future we pass on tomorrow. This presentation explores 5 green initiatives designed for the UAE's journey towards a cleaner and more resilient future. So let us begin gently with the broader version. So first comes the executive summary. So here our vision is very simple. A UAE urban system that is resilient, energy efficient, low carbon and fully aligned with national net zero goals. We assessed 5 initiatives, that is solar planet, low flush toilets, plastic and paper reduction, walkable city and recycled steel. We have used many approaches in calculating all these initiatives, like some MAC, NPV, discounted payback, WAC, scenario analysis, and a full risk matrix as well. So this gives investors a complete financial and environmental picture as well. So let's begin with the first initiative, that is Solar Planet. So here the solar's current situation. So when we look for the current situation, the UAE has one of the strongest solar ecosystems in the world, supported by DEWA's major PV program and clean energy policies. So the opportunity is huge, but the challenges include upfront capital, site suitability, and intermediate generations. Even with those challenges, solar remains a top candidate for sustainable financing in Dubai. So yeah, so when we look for the solar eligibility, so solar aligns directly with global green finance criteria because it delivers measurable and long-term CO2 reductions. And now let's look at its performance. So when it comes to performance, solar CO2 abatement. So here across all solar pathways combined, we see over 9,800 tons of CO2 reduction every year, making this one of the highest impact initiatives among all 4. So next, let's look at the cost structure. So cost structure is really main thing, that is Apex BAU and OPEX BAU. So these are the calculations and things which we'll be following for all the initiatives. So I'll be just briefing you about the initiatives. So that is about the calculations, that is CAPEX BAU and OPEX BAU. So when it comes to CAPEX BAU, in BAU capital needs are minimal, around AED 1.5 million. So just to remain and maintain existing installations. And OPEX also tells a similar story, like BAU operation cost roughly AED 1.2 million per year without delivering additional benefits. So we have initiatives, that is separate individual CAPEX and OPEX initiatives for each initiative. So when it comes to solar CAPEX initiative, to scale solar meaningfully, investment reaches about AED 80 million across pathways. This includes both rooftop and utility scale PV. So let's see how this performs over the long term. So when it comes to long term, we'll be calculating the solar PV and savings of NPV. So here with the UAE electricity price and a 12% discount rate, solar generates strong lifetime saving, as well as larger pathways begin to show positive financial returns over 25 years in future. So now let's look at the cost effectiveness. So when it comes to cost effectiveness, the MAC speaks. So the MAC here, solar shows competitive abatement cost around the mid-range for renewable energy, larger system, deliver better cost performance per ton, that is per ton of CO2 saved. So next we'll be looking for the financing risk side, that is solar WAC, adjusted solar analysis. Under adjusted WAC, it sits at 10%, reflecting stable policy, zero corporate tax and balanced financing. So now let's look at the overall economic price and the value. So solar cost benefit analysis. So here mid and large scale solar pathways shows significant large and long-term economic advantages. As scale grows, cost per unit drops and savings rise. So and socially, solar delivers even greater value as well. So solar SMAC, sorry. So solar social abatement cost is quite attractive, reflecting improved air quality and long-term climate benefits. So here we'll be moving for the next initiative, that is water efficiency. So here water scarcity remains one of the UAE's most pressing and environmental challenges. With 42% of domestic water use occurring in bathrooms, low-flush toilets offer a simple but powerful intervention. They reduce both water consumption and energy used in desalination, ultimately lowering indirect CO2 emissions. So let's compare the baseline with the retrofit opportunity. So we'll be looking at the BAU capex and opex both together. So under BAU, buildings spend modest amount, about 1,50,000 annually for replacing older units. Operational cost of AED 1,60,000 arise mainly from high water consumption, but BAU doesn't unlock long-term water savings or emission reductions. So now let's see how the changes with initiative investment. So when it comes to initiative investment, we'll be looking for both capex as well as opex in general. So when it comes to capex, retrofit capex grows with scale, from replacing a small portion of units to full building wide upgrades, while the cost rise gradually when we can see in the data. So higher scale retrofits deliver stronger water savings as well. So yeah, when it comes to OPEX, significantly reduces in higher pathways due to lower water use and reduced strain on building systems. So now to the financial value. So when it comes to financial value, we'll be looking mainly for the NPV calculation for the longer term. Using 12% discount rate, lifetime saving accumulates steadily. Although upfront capex keeps NPVs negative, the savings profile demonstrates strong long-term value, especially in the region with high destination dependency. Now let's consider cost effectiveness. So here cost effectiveness speaks about MAC as well as WAC. So abatement cost declined sharply in larger pathways, showing that scale unlocks better efficiency per ton of CO2 reduced. So when it comes to WAC analysis, it remains stable at 7.66% due to predictable project risk. When it comes to MAC, SMAC highlights strong public benefit but the lower water demand. So the lower desalination or emissions and reduced peak load pressure on utilities. So next we'll be moving for the next initiative, that is waste. So here we have taken plastic and paper waste under this initiative. So the UAE is moving aggressively towards phasing out single-use items, reducing plastic and paper use by 25% to 75%, directly supports circulatory and decreases the landfill pressure and also cuts emission from raw material production. So here is what the analysis shows. So when it comes to CO2 abatement, you can just see CO2 savings increase consistently across all the pathways, driven by avoided production and reduced waste transport. And also BAU and BAU capex is minimal since no new systems are added. So initiative for capex are gradually with scaling, especially when moving towards like centralized collection units or digital substitution for papers. Now we'll be looking for the financial performance, that is of course NPV. So NPV is plus cost efficiency, that makes a good pair actually. So the when we look for the pathway 1, which achieves a positive NPV due to low investment and high avoided waste cost. However, higher pathways require additional infrastructure and behavior programs as well, so which causing NPVs to turn negative despite environmental benefits. And what about policy alignment? Yeah, so it's MAC and SMAC. That's really rhyming, but yeah, SMAC and MAC. So here the larger pathways show improved abatement cost performance, meaning the most waste you reduce, the more efficient the initiative becomes per ton of CO2 avoided, and as well as the social benefit are strong, improved public hygiene, reduced marine plastic risk and enhanced city livability. So we'll be moving for the next initiative, that is mobility. So mobility is here, urban mobility shapes both emissions and quality of life. Walkability upgrades such as shaded walkways, street lightings, pedestrian corridors, and accessibility enhancement reduce dependency on cars and encourage healthier and low carb lifestyles, which is really interesting. Here is what analysis shows. So yeah, CO2 savings increase sharply as pedestrians routes expand primarily from reduced car travel. In BAU, cities maintain only basic pedestrians infrastructure without upgrades. Mobility remains car dominated. Now the investment part, that is CapEx and OpEx initiative. So CapEx ranges widely from small scale shading and signaling to fully improved pedestrians corridors with landscaping and lighting. So now let's look at the financial performance. Before that, operational costs rise with the pathway scale but support safely, comfort and real and year-round usability. So we'll be looking for the financial performance, that is NPV and MAC. So here, pathway 1 yields positive financial return due to low investment and high avoidant emissions. Larger pathway shows higher cost but also higher social and environmental returns. MAC improves with the scale, indicating strong long-term abandonment potential. And yeah, lastly, we'll be seeing about the SMAC in this initiative. Walkability generates some of the most strongest non-financial benefits, improves physical health, reduces congestions, higher urban livability, and enhanced local business activity as well. So SMAC scores reflect the advantage clearly. So we'll be looking for the last initiative, that is recycled steel, which is really interesting topic and I really enjoyed while doing this research. So here the steel production is one of the most carbon incentive industrial processes. Using recycled steel reduces to need for virgin extractions, cutting emissions and supporting circular manufacturing. So when we compare the BAU and initiative pathways, we'll go in general. So BAU and initiative. So BAU cost is minimal, but it provides no improvement. And initiative capex rises sharply with increasing recycled content because local recycling capacity is still developing. And the higher recycled portions also increase, but the OPEX due to sourcing and processing the challenges. Yeah, so here is the financial impact, that is MPV and cost performance. So only the smallest pathway shows the partial cost recovery. Higher pathways become financially challenging due to supply chain limitations and higher procurement cost. However, but the environmental benefits, our recycled content increases in a very good way. Now overall cost effectiveness is MAC and as well as MAC. So MAC, recycled steel shows higher abatement cost today when it comes to this today's data as well, reflecting limitations in local recycling infrastructure. And as well as when it comes to MAC, it remains high as well, but will improve as recycling becomes more widespread and economics of scale strengthened. So let's consolidate the whole full initiative into under a risk matrix. So here we can see 6 to 7 pointers, but I'll just make it very short and brief, like what is it about and what are the main risks under each initiative. So key risks include permitting delays in solar, user adoption challenges in water retrofits, and as well as waste vendor inconsistencies and heat stress constraints for walkability and recycled steel supply limitations. And also mitigations includes phased implementation, verified suppliers, as well as clean contractual constructions, policy alignment and monitoring frameworks. Now I'll be showing few ESG frameworks that have been aligned. You can just have a look for a second. And yeah, so moving forward, I'll just tell you like what are the main recommendations that I've given for each initiatives. When it comes to solar, I've given a main recommendation for both pathways 2 and 3. When it comes to second initiative, that is low flush toilets, I recommend higher retrofit scale. And when it comes to third initiative, that is waste reduction, I begin with path 1, which is really advisable. And the fourth initiative starts with a smaller corridor upgrade. But for the walkability. And when it comes to so when it comes to last initiative, that is recycled steel, adopt the lowest pathways as of now, which we are not ready to take risk at the starting stage. So let's take the pathway for at the lowest as of now. And yeah, so these are the appendix where I have referred like over a good official websites, and as well as I got a good content and it really helped me in making the project. So these initiatives are aligned with DEWA strategies, the UAE's clean energy strategies according to 2050 and SDGs goals. And the supporting data comes from the official national report, which is covering the emissions, energy performance, and circular economic frameworks as well. So when it comes to references, I have taken these references as discussed. All the figures and methods in this analysis are supported by DEWA's sustainability reports, as you can see, and UAE technical data sets, national circular economy strategies, and internationally recognized financial evaluation frameworks. And yeah, that's it from my side. Thank you so